morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butenoff coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text. The number is the same at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Busy Monday coming up for you. After the 9:30 news, Civic Media's news director, Shali Pittman, is going to be joining us for a little recap of the many things that are going on. The Voting Rights Act turned 60 this week. We're going to talk about that and what appear to be some efforts to change the Voting Rights Act. Also, we're going to talk about the cuts for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which announced last week that it will be shutting down now that the federal government has pulled funding, and talk about some of the ramifications that's going to have, especially for people who live in rural areas.
Yes. Yeah.
This is going to be impactful.
Yes.
In hour number 2, we will lighten things up a little bit. We're going to go beyond the cheese with the Poppy Bakery in Milwaukee. Amy Gorski is the owner. She started as a little pop-up and then started doing some farmers markets. Yeah. And now she has this, she's only open on weekends in Milwaukee, but it's killing. It's killing it.
Is there a more Midwestern name than Amy Gorski?
Probably not.
Amy Gorski.
She
owns the bakery down on Third Street, and the best popovers in the game.
Yeah, ever
I
had.
just love them.
There's no comparison.
I love them.
We're going to wrap up the show as we always do with this Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's your worst nightmare edition, or your versed nightmare edition. So stay tuned for that. Did want to start off with this, though. The Department of Health Department of Health Services here in Wisconsin has confirmed our first cases of measles in 2025. 9 cases of measles have been confirmed by the Department of Health Services and the Oconto County Public Health. This is from WISN.com. Sam Schmitz has the byline. All of those impacted were exposed to a common source after they traveled out of state. The DHS didn't say where they had traveled, and they are not releasing any other information about those because of HIPAA laws, which I understand. But we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more of childhood diseases that had essentially been eradicated. But now there's so much vaccine hesitation being supported by our federal head of the Department of Health and Human Services, Bob Jr.
Definitely not a doctor.
No, definitely not a doctor. And now we have some Republicans who apparently want to help this along so more of us can get measles. This is from the Wisconsin Examiner. Baylor Spears. Amid falling vaccination rates, GOP lawmakers now want Wisconsin to highlight exemptions. That's essentially ways to get out of giving your child vaccines, because a lot of schools require them. So that all the kids don't get sick.
That seems like a basic, once again, like Bob Jr., not a doctor myself. I would say that vaccinating children when you're around other children and adults seems like a good idea.
Yeah. Kind of for the common good kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. You know, that weird word we don't use anymore.
That old attitude we used to have. Co-authors of the bill, Representative Lindy Brill, Republican from Sheboygan Falls, and Senator Rachel Cabral Guevara from Appleton, also a Republican, say there's a lack of transparency around the exemptions that can create confusion and unnecessary barriers for parents, and increase administrative burdens on schools when immunization documentation is incomplete or delayed. Can't you just say they want to opt out of vaccines? Let's let them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wisconsin law does require kids in elementary, middle, junior, or senior high schools, child care centers, or nursery schools to get vaccinated based on their grade or age. The schedule covers all the stuff we had growing up.
Yeah.
Mumps, measles, rubella, diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus.
The stuff that, a Republican, even just 10 years ago would have said, well, yeah, of course I'm going to get my kid vaccinated because that's just what you do. It was a
gift.
Yeah.
If you go back to the days of polio, and they came out with a polio vaccine, parents couldn't wait to get their kids that shot.
I mean, there's Jane. There are so many feelings right here. It's just like this profound sense of sadness. The arrogance too. It's just the pure, uncut arrogance of it all to say, I know better than doctors, and because I watched some person on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook,
Because those people are never wrong. Influencers are never
or
wrong.
got an email from a guy who talked to a guy who knows someone who's pretty sure that their kid got a vaccination and now they have mumps-filled autism. Well, that's it. My kids are. It's just the absolute arrogance. And you know what? You don't want to vaccinate your. Well, for one thing, I'm just really surprised that we still have a law. I'm really surprised at this point.
Well,
we still have a law
as of today.
And if we don't have one in 6 months, don't blame me. I'm just saying. I'm really surprised we still have a law in the books that requires children. And if you don't want your child to get vaccinated, then I feel bad because the consequences are in you. But also, why don't you just homeschool them then?
But then what if they go on a playground? I mean, are you going to homeschool them and just confine them to your yard? I guess you could. We have children who died in New Mexico whose parents did not get them vaccinated.
Yeah.
And they died from measles. Measles is a highly contagious disease that can spread from person to person through the air and stay in the air for 2 hours after the infected person coughs or sneezes. It is so contagious, if one person gets measles, up to 90% of the people around them can also become infected if they're not vaccinated. And the symptoms include runny nose, high fever, could be over 104. That's not good. Cough, watery eyes, pink eye, a rash. It can also cause serious health complications, including pneumonia, brain damage, deafness, and can also cause death.
On the live stream, because Cassandra is one of our regular commentators and also a nurse, she says, Rachel, I think is it Rachel or Rochelle? I think it's Rachel, one of the Cabral Guevara. She is the Republican who co-authored this bill. She is a nurse practitioner. And she is authoring this. I don't get it. Honestly, I'm at the point, Jane, where now when I hear these things, I no longer even have any sort of like witty retort or a bevy of information, because it doesn't matter the information you had. They just do not care. They want to live their lives in the most illness-ridden freedoms they want.
It's freedom. It's all about freedom.
And that's, I guess, the point of the whole like homeschooling is if you want to be unvaccinated, okay. But then be away from other people then. You have a responsibility not to be around people if you are unvaccinated, because you will get sick and you can make other people sick. And it just doesn't make sense to me at all that none of this.
But they have the freedom to infect others.
Yeah.
Wisconsin does allow parents to get the requirement waived for vaccinations if they submit a written statement objecting, including health, religious, or personal conviction.
Well, that just covers everything then. All you have to say then is like, I don't like it. And you don't even have, if it's health or religious or personal conviction, that doesn't seem very, the claim of it's very vague. There's a lot of problems with people trying to access. No, it isn't.
It doesn't seem that difficult.
It's either I can't do it because I have I can't do this because of the Lord, or I can't do this because I just don't feel like it.
I don't want to be chipped.
I don't know how less vague you can get in this matter.
The bill would not change current requirements for vaccines. The bill would require schools, child care centers, and nursery schools to create a process to give a vaccine waiver form with every health-related form it requires before a student can be enrolled. So they just want to make sure that it's that much easier for parents to opt out of getting their kids vaccinated.
We talk about this a lot on this show, and I think it's never been more important because especially at the state level, the local level, all politics are local. But if you don't like this, if this bothers you, if this makes you uneasy, if you are, I don't care if you're a parent or not. This just because if your kid, we're out in the world. We're all together. It doesn't matter if you have kids or not. But go to myvote.wi.gov, put in your information. Look, and they don't have to represent you, by the way, for you to call them. Call the co-sponsors of this bill and tell them what you think. And as Cassandra also put it, and this really makes me nervous, Cabrera is a primary care provider in the Fox Valley. So
is she just advising her patients not to get vaccinated?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So yeah, go to myvote.wi.gov and put in your information, find out who represents you, and call them up as well, because it's important for you to have your voice heard on these matters.
2 doses of the measles vaccine are 97% effective at preventing it.
See, James, about that 3%.
That's what it is.
That's that 3% that causes all that.
If you
junk.
would like to find out more about the measles vaccine, the DHS does have a measles webpage. We will include the articles that we're referencing in our show notes that you can find at civicmedia.us, CIVIC, civicmedia.us. Again, now we have 9 confirmed cases of measles in Wisconsin in 2025.
Are you happy? Does that make you happy? Is that what you wanted?
Herd immunity.
Yep.
That's what we're shooting for.
Yep.
When we return, I went grocery shopping over the weekend, and the receipt I got was wrong. It was miscalculated.
Oh, okay.
So I told the cashier I want a new cashier.
You did?
Yeah. All the details coming up.
I'm just finding this out right now.
Because it's a joke.
Oh.
Stay with us. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. We are coming to you across the vast, statewide, global on the app. Civic Media, you get it now.
I just got it.
Thanks. Radio Network, stay with us.
She gets mad and she starts to cry. She takes a swing, man. She can't help. She don't mean no harm. She just
morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Civic Media's news director, Shali Pittman, joining us after the 9:30 news. And want to give you a reminder, we got baseball later on today. You're pretty happy, aren't you? It was kind of a good weekend.
4th sweep in a month.
And boy, were they hot at the bats.
Oh yeah, they're the best record in baseball again.
Right, that was something. Brewers at the Braves tonight. Our broadcast starts at 5:40. You cannot listen on the stream, but you can listen on terrestrial radio. So check it out on WRCE in Richland Center, WISS in Oshkosh, WRJN here in Racine and Kenosha, WCQM at Park Falls. Hello, Park Falls.
Hey, Park Falls.
And our newest Milwaukee Brewers affiliate, WBZH in Hayward. The crew at the Braves tonight. Our broadcast starts at 5:40.
I forgot to mention this last week. The Friday game, I believe, was on Apple TV Plus, and if you get it, I believe in certain parts of Wisconsin, they still do blackouts, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, probably.
So, Civic Media is a great alternative for getting those Brewers games. Listen to them. You know, if you were within the range of one of those stations, kicking back on the porch, listening to a game on the radio, there's really fewer things that are better. But yeah, it's a great alternative if you can't get it on your TV, which I know is. With all the access to baseball on TV, they still have blackout rules, and it's still very, very infuriating.
And yeah, it annoys numerous people.
Yeah.
Yes. So this happened on Friday, and it might have just, might have missed it. There's lots of things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump on Friday fired the head of the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McEnterfer, had almost the entire Senate supporting her to lead the agency in 2024. The widely respected economist, was confirmed on a bipartisan 86-8 vote in the Senate.
Well, that's where you lost me, is widely respected economist. That's where her first problem is.
Because she was widely respected?
And an economist.
Yeah. Well, the revisions to the jobs numbers came out on Friday, and Donald Trump said they're rigged, and he didn't like them, so he fired her. This is what we do in North Korea. When you don't like the news, you fire the messenger, kill the messenger.
Yeah. Well, you make it eventually so you don't even report that news out of fear of being fired, jailed, deported, worse.
No, you adjust the news to show the administration what it wants.
Yes.
This was in Project 2025 when they talked about science.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the result we want. You come up with how we get there.
Yes.
And that's what they're doing now with the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Jane, how easy is it for the director of the BLS to go in there and tinker with numbers and go and
rig them?
Yeah, take a wax pencil and be like, there we go, take them and do all that stuff. How easy is it?
Let's hear from the former commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Bill Beach, on CNN. Calvin, play that clip, please.
Can you explain to us, the president said that the BLS commissioner rigged these numbers.
Yeah.
What do you think?
There's no way for that to happen. The commissioner doesn't do anything to collect the numbers. The commissioner doesn't see the numbers until Wednesday before they're published. By the time the commissioner sees the numbers, they're all prepared. They're locked into the computer system. The only thing the commissioner does on Wednesday is to kind of do the edits on the text. So there's no hands-on at all for the commissioner. I was commissioner, and I was sometimes locked out of the process of actually, where the people were working in the building.
Why should we trust
So there's
him?
no way for doing that. What I think really upset the president on Friday were the revisions to May and June. Big revisions. But that's because, like every time we publish on Friday,
Happens.
there are revisions to the previous 2 months. This is a
Always.
survey. And a survey has sample returns. People have done surveys. You answer your phone.
It's basically like a poll.
Yeah, it's like a poll.
Okay.
Not everybody in the country is asked the question, are you working? Are you looking for work? Just a handful. And businesses, about 600,000 businesses. Well, they don't all get their returns in on time. I would like them all to come in on time, but
they don't.
BLS keeps the door open for 2 more months to get more information. So what you saw on Friday was the effect of trying to do a better job getting more information.
That is the former head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Bill Beach, on CNN, explaining how the head of the BLS, there's no way for her to rig numbers. Sorry, President Trump, the numbers weren't good.
Mm-hmm. And
That's a fact.
And like every other president before you who's had these numbers be published, you just have to deal with it and do better. And
no, you fire her. You fire her, and you put in a loyalist who will give you the answers that you want. That's why I said yes. I went to the grocery store over the weekend, and after I got my receipt and I looked at it, and I told the cashier, "This is rigged. I want you fired." And then they laughed at me and threw me out of the store. But that's my life.
see, I wouldn't have thought it was real had you delivered that the first time. When you did it before, I was like, what? Wait a minute. You didn't say anything about this. Tell me more how this works, because I have no idea. I thought computers did this stuff. But yeah, I'm going to throw, you're going to hear this from me a lot more going into the future is MAGA supporters make this make sense. Why is this a good thing? Why does this make sense? Why is this?
Because it was all rigged.
How
Greg.
does this make America better? How does it make it great? How is it rigged? Show your work. Show me the science. I want to see it, because right now, if we're just firing people who disagree with your leader, then that's not democracy at all. And you cannot redefine that, because, sorry, that's not how words work.
It almost feels that some people really aren't fans of democracy.
No.
We have news coming up next. When we come back, Civic Media's news director, Shali Pittman, will be joining us. Stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Good morning, Shali. Can you hear me all right?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
I have
Hello?
the fader on, so yes, I will repeat that.
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, you sound great.
Great.
Awesome. We come back in just under 4 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Did you see me scrambling before? I'm sure that was hilarious.
I didn't catch it. I'm sure you had it all under control.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Sweet Cal B coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up an hour from now, a segment we call Audio Sorbet, where we lighten things up a little bit, get away from the news, take a break. We're going to pivot to something that's happening above my garage door. I have a bird stuck in a birdhouse. That's a hole. So we're going to talk about wildlife assistance for Audio Sorbet today. If you have any tips on how I can get this stuck baby bird out of this birdhouse, that would be great. We will talk about other animal rescues coming up after the 10:30 news in Audio Sorbet. Right now, though, we're going to talk about important things. Like Shali Pittman is Civic Media's news director, and she joins us now every Monday. Good morning, Shali. How you doing?
Good morning. Hey, wildlife rescue is important, so I look forward to hearing it.
It kept me awake until 1 o'clock this morning. I couldn't stop thinking about that bird. It's driving me nuts. So that's coming up next hour. But we want to talk about, there are always things that happen on Fridays. We get off the air at 11 o'clock, and it's like everything breaks once we leave the air. But something that kind of got skipped over among all the other late-breaking Friday news was Susan Crawford is now Justice Crawford.
Absolutely. Well, this one we knew was coming. This was scheduled. Right. We like when that happens in the news business. We can plan around it. So Susan Crawford, after being elected in April, is now Supreme Court Justice. She's taken her seat on the bench for a 10-year term, and she was sworn in at the Capitol Rotunda on Friday. Radio listeners can't see us, but I have this program schedule right here. I held on to it. And,
very nice.
It was a celebration. The very crowded rotunda. She was presented the robe by her family, which was very sweet, and she delivered an address. And you can find more about what she said, on civicmedia.us. But it's a continuation of the Supreme Court kind of liberal majority. It further bolsters it. And 6 out of the 7 Supreme Court justices in Wisconsin are women.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
And for me personally, it's a fun little family connection because I found out this weekend that now Justice Susan Crawford was a partner, an associate at Pines Bach, which is a law firm in Madison that I believe my cousin is a founding partner, if not a partner at. So I just saw that. They wished her well and good luck. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so cool. It just makes sense that cool people hang out because the lawyer Bachs in my family are amazing. And then there's the radio Bach down here is just like, we don't talk about him.
It's a lesser
lesser Bach.
Lesser branch of the family, a lesser Bach of the family, as it were. This guy, it's interesting because this kind of goes along with new FEC filings regarding Elon Musk. And Elon, of course, famously poured millions and millions and millions of dollars into the Supreme Court race. So what's up with this new filing?
Yeah, this came, I think, a day before or the same day as her investiture, as it's called. But Politics was on this, of course, and they found that Elon Musk's PAC spent more than $27 million on petition incentives this spring. Now, those filings don't say that PAC spent it in Wisconsin on this race, but the dates align with the Supreme Court race, and our listeners will well remember Elon Musk coming to Wisconsin, putting a cheese head on in Green Bay and handing over these, checks and all the things that had to change. He initially announced something that didn't seem entirely legal, so he had to change it to sign a petition against activist judges, and that promised $100 to folks who promised to vote against that. And then we had those sweepstakes. So that brought legal challenges even at the time. Attorney General Josh Kaul filed a injunction to a lawsuit asking for an injunction with the Wisconsin Supreme Court, who denied it and didn't say why. But there is another lawsuit challenging that earlier this year that was filed by another progressive legal group, Greg, Law Forward, which filed that in Dane County Circuit Court. And just to make your brain spin, right, Dane County Court was where Susan Crawford served.
Right.
I feel like now as you play the X-File theme song, it all connects, man.
It all connects. It all connects. And Greg, that's you really are connected. I had no idea. Thanks for sharing that. I also want to share that Susan Crawford was chief legal counsel under Jim Doyle, and he spoke. And it's been a while since I've seen the former governor.
yeah. Wow.
He kind of when he was done, he said goodbye. While you said that name, I had to be like, oh yeah, that governor.
He was out of the woodwork. He spoke and he gave some of the main remarks. So did now retired, I guess, former Chief Justice Ann Walsh Bradley. She had a celebration in June in the exact same place in the Capitol Rotunda. And I think they pulled up the same screen that they used on Friday, right in the back. So that we also covered that. And that was, she delivered a pretty long and lengthy speech just talking about the representation of women on the court and the role of judges and justices in a time of kind of deep political division, which is something that Susan Crawford also spoke to in her remarks on Friday.
I think former Justice Ann Walsh Bradley will have an interesting book coming out one day.
I hope so.
That's just my speculation. I think she would have some interesting stories to tell about her time on the court.
And this is a question in the moment. I don't know if someone can find this out. Is there another state Supreme Court in America that has more of a representation of women on the bench than Wisconsin? I think we might be the one.
That's a great question. I wish I had the data.
I apologize. I should have prompted everyone else, but it popped in my head when you said that, and I was just like, oh, that feels like that's pretty important. That there are 6 of the 7 justices are women. I mean, that's cool. Wow, what a grand statement to make. But yeah.
Other states also have different selection criteria for their state Supreme Court justices, so it gets complicated.
It all works differently. I do find it interesting, though, that these cases against Elon are still going on. I have never understood how what he did was considered legal. In any kind of business, if you have a raffle or a sweepstakes or anything, there are all kinds of things that govern how you do that in order to keep it legit. Mm-hmm. And that is remarkable to me. That he's just it's like, well, here's $1 million. Yeah. It's all fine. Go ahead.
And as I said, I always thought that it's he's Elon Musk. He's probably got 40,000 attorneys on retainer, and they probably went through all the things that here's what you can do, cannot say, not say.
Here, try this.
So yeah. All right.
Civic Media's news director, Shelly Pittman, is our guest, and we're just doing a little recap of things going on in the news that we might all have missed. The Voting Rights Act turned 60 this week, Shelly. What was the goal of the Voting Rights Act? What did it do?
Yeah, that's a great question. It turns 60 on Wednesday, and it was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965. And the goal was to end racial discrimination in voting, especially in the South. It banned things like literacy tests and voter suppression tactics, and it gave the federal government the power to come in to oversee elections in states when some things might be happening. So, I thought it was interesting when we're talking about voting and voting access that this law is 60 years old. Now it's taken a beating, right? It has been renewed and amended along the way, but it was weakened by a 2013 Supreme Court decision, Shelby County v. Holder. And so as we're continuing to talk about things in 2025 related to voter access, voter ID, and how our elections are administrated and who benefits, I thought that was a little known I didn't know that. I was looking at my planning calendar and I was like, oh, wow, it turned 60. Kudos to the League of Women Voters, who will have a celebration at the state capitol this Wednesday for thinking ahead and planning that.
And by the way, a League of Women Voters is a great organization. If you are ever thinking, what can I do? I'm a blue, I'm a blue dot or even a red dot because the League of Women Voters is a bipartisan organization. If you would like to get involved in some way, they'd be a good place to start, at least to talk to them.
And one thing that's great about the League of Women Voters is that they provide great explanations, especially on ballot measures. They have a toolkit on their website that shows you exactly what the language is, what it breaks down to. And as you said, this is nonpartisan. This is a group that just seeks to expand democracy and understanding. So yeah, actually, I didn't know that, Charlie. That's a great thing. I think I'll reach out to Deb Cronmiller and see if she wants to come on to talk about that celebration, because I think it's important to celebrate. What a wonderful thing to celebrate. That's totally in danger, in my opinion.
Well, and it is still under threat. The Voting Rights Act is they're still trying to chip away at it and say that we no longer need this.
Yeah,
is lame, that everything in our system works just perfectly, so we don't need this anymore. We're gonna continue this on the other side, Shelly, but let's talk a little bit about the cuts for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Yes, this might have something you missed last Friday. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting says it's shutting down following a vote in Congress to defund it. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting funds 1,500 radio and TV stations across the country, which are nonprofit and non-commercial. It's public radio, it's community radio, and I'll say this on the other side, but this is something I have a deep connection to.
Absolutely.
We sort of saw coming, and the impacts are manifold.
Especially, this is going to have a widespread impact, and I think especially in some of Wisconsin's more rural communities, and I don't think people appreciate just what is coming down the pike. So we're going to continue this conversation with Civic Media's Shelly Pittman. She is our news director, and we will be right back, so stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Don't go away. Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach. Resident young person Calvin on the board, coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine, where you can always join us. Call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream. Hello, live stream.
Hi, live stream.
On Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Just a reminder, every Friday during the summer, free Ticket Fridays here at Civic Media. All you have to do is download the Civic Media app, which is absolutely free. Go to wherever you get your apps and look for Civic, C-I-V-I-C, Civic Media. Download the Civic Media app. Pick your favorite station, WAUK perhaps.
I like that.
I like that one. And then you can call and text directly. You can leave a voice note directly from the app. And that is how you're going to enter the keyword then on Free Ticket Fridays. Pat Kreitlow starts off with a keyword from 6 to 9. We have a different one from 9 to 11. Tom Hartman then from 11 to 2. Todd 2 to 4. Maggie 4 to 6. All kinds of chances. Free Ticket Fridays. Playing for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers. I understand the boys are doing somewhat well lately. A 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers Club level seats.
Those are comfy. Those are cushy.
They're cushy, they're comfy, and they're hot right now.
Yes, they are the hottest team in baseball, the best league, the best best record in the league. Period. Take that. The Dodgers. And yeah, it's very it's always exciting to be a Brewers fan, but sometimes it's more excitement, happy, other times it's anxiety.
That too. But anyway, the whole point is download the Civic Media app so you are ready when we come to Friday for Free Ticket Fridays. If you're just joining us, Shelly Pittman is our guest. She's the news director here at Civic Media. We're just doing a little recap of some of the news over the weekend you may have missed. Before we went to break, we were talking about the end of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. This is going to have a much wider impact, I think, Shelly, than people realize. You worked in public radio for a long time.
Yes. Well, I worked in community radio, which is sort of public radio, but also its own sort of different thing. Animal, right. But non-commercial broadcasting. And I worked at WORT, which does get funding from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So this is one thing that I am not maybe objective on, and it's also not something that Civic Media is objective on. We put out a press release opposing these cuts. You might have seen that, or you might have not, but we said that we stand against funding cuts to public broadcasting. So just those disclaimers out there. But the CPB is the single greatest source of funding for not only National Public Radio, Wisconsin Public Radio, but also for independent broadcasters, rural broadcasters, community radio, including those in Wisconsin. So WORT, about 12% of their budget comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. I was listening to an interview with the station manager at WOJB, the Lakota Ray station in the Northwoods, and their station manager told WORT that they will need about $200,000 to stay on the air in the face of those cuts.
That's a lot of money when you're up in the Northwoods. It is.
When you're a non-commercial broadcaster,
yeah.
Absolutely. And that carries with it restrictions, by the way. Non-commercial broadcasters cannot air ads for revenue. They can air something different called underwriting. There are many legal restrictions for what you can say in underwriting versus advertising. But it also there are a lot of there are a lot of hoops to jump through when you're applying for a CPB grant. You have to file grant reports on what you're doing. You have to do so many outreach activities. You have to take, which is good, anti-discrimination and anti-harassment training. There are lots of requirements to obtaining CPB funding, and that's going away.
Well, this brings me to a question, and I posted something on social media about this, and someone came back at me and said that this is the result of a bad business model, that they did not adapt early platforms, and that they could go to for profit instead of being. I don't think he understands what Corporation for Public Broadcasting actually means. I think he thinks of it as a legit traditional business model when really it's something that the government set up as a way of funding these public stations. And I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't saying like, well, you're wrong. I feel like this is just a matter of because people have broken down, it's pennies out of our pocket per person funding these stations. And I just want to make sure that I am not incorrect in my assumption that this isn't about bad business. This is about the fact that Donald Trump called it woke, liberal, radicalized, and it finally gave them the push they've been trying to cut for years.
Well, that evil Sesame Street, you know,
Well, if I can jump in, I hear where the listener is coming from, right? And in many ways, radio stations, community public radio stations have adapted. However, there has been this narrative that they do not represent the full diversity of the ideological sphere. And in my time in public and commercial or non-commercial radio, I have not found that to be true, right? Everyone is invited on the airwaves, especially at community radio. We are open. WORT is open to everyone to volunteer. It's also one of those things where it's responsible for those vital services like EAS, emergency alerts, that are the backbone for the rest of broadcasting. So there's that. This was also outlined in Project 2025, and we also knew that this was coming. And if we had more time, we'd get into that section that says remove CPB funding and also revoke the non-commercial status of stations.
Shelly Pittman is Civic Media's news director. Go to our website, civicmedia.us, click on news. We have a great news department headquartered all over the state. Shelly, thank you so much. We will see you next Monday.
Thank you.
We have news coming up next. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Good morning.
Good morning, Amy. Can you hear me all right?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
All right, awesome. We come back in about 90 seconds.
Yay.
Good morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butonoff coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. We try to do this once a month. We're very excited to have our next guest here for a segment, Calvin, we call
Beyond the Cheese.
It's amazing.
Joining us is the owner of Poppy Bakery in Milwaukee. Pastry chef Amy Gorski is joining us. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. It turns out that actually you have a nice profile today in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.
Oh, that's news
You
to
haven't
me.
seen it
so-
yet. Yeah, Rachel
No, I haven't seen
Bernhard.
it.
Rachel Bernhard in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel today has a really nice review of Poppy Bakery in the dining section. First Bites. Poppy Bakery is the Swedish addition to Milwaukee's East Side. So
Man.
you'll have to check that out. We're going to include this
cool.
article in our show notes after the
at that.
show. Yeah, it's fabulous. So tell us a little bit about Poppy Bakery because you started as a pop-up.
Yeah, so I started the bakery about 2 years ago, and I was at the Brookfield Farmers Market, Oconomowoc Farmers Market, and then the indoor Waukesha Market at Chef Pam's Kitchen. So last year, I kind of really made an imprint on the Brookfield Farmers Market. So I was a weekly vendor. And it just kind of exploded. And then, I've been working towards this for the last 12 years of my career. So it was time to pull the trigger and, just see how far I could take this. And we found a spot and it all happened within like 6 months. It was really fast, very fast.
Wow.
Yeah,
There you
it was
go.
one of those where I saw the space. My friend, George Gaspar, he is an incredible realtor. And we just were like, this is it. We got to take
This is
it.
the spot.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I signed on the dotted line and went, what did I just do?
Yeah.
But I knew I couldn't pass it up, and everything just felt right. And there were so many little God winks along the way that was telling me this is the right thing. And I just had to do it. So yeah, it worked out.
Where is your space on Milwaukee's East
Yeah.
Side?
So it's on Ivanhoe. It's right at the intersection of like North Ivanhoe and Prospect, I think. It's right by the Oriental Theater. It's right by like Beans and Barley, the hospital, Whole Foods, like that kind of area. It's kind of tucked away. The Ivanhoe Plaza, they just redid it and it's beautiful. And so they have this giant mural on the street and they closed it off. So now it's just this big kind of open space for people to sit and hang out. So it really worked out so that there's kind of more seating outside for people.
I know exactly where that is because I used to live in the apartment buildings that are on Summit and Ivanhoe.
Okay, yeah.
And when Vintage used to be Vox, and it was all just a couple bars and a dream, and the old tiny theater, the old Marcus Theater inside the Prospect Mall back in the.
I remember that.
I'm really old, but yeah, I know that well.
You have but you're only open on weekends, correct?
So we opened on Fridays a couple weeks ago, and then probably within the next 2 weeks, we're going to open on Thursdays. And I specifically and strategically did that because I want to make sure that we can deliver consistent, perfect pastry and hospitality. And I just wanted to do it right. And with the incredible staff that I have, we're able to execute Friday, Saturday, and Sunday pretty much flawlessly. And everyone still has a little bit of a work-life balance, you know, kind of self-included. But yeah, we're working towards a goal of Wednesday through Sunday. But we don't really have a rush. I just want to make sure that we do this right. So,
well, and growing bigger, faster, I would think that's always a challenge that you have to look at, especially as a small business owner, right? You want to make sure, as you said, you can continue to keep your customers happy while at the same trying to grow a little bit. I wanted to share this little review from today's Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. I grabbed a savory brioche bacon bun.
Oh man.
Puffy and golden around the edges, dotted with a blend of rich goat cheese, bechamel, Asiago, and Parmesan that crusts and crisps over the top of thick chopped bacon. A scattering of fresh chives and parsley makes it picture perfect. You sold me on that. I'm there.
Wow. You know, it's so funny. So when I started the business, I never set out to have like a pastry that I'm known for, or like that's like the thing you have to get. And the irony of the bacon brioche being one of our best sellers is I was vegan for like 15 years. Yeah. And now my best seller is a cheese and bacon bun. It's so funny to me. And I was just like, hey, whatever works. But yeah, no, that's a fun one. I haven't changed that. I haven't changed any of that, like any of the components in like 2 years. So that's kind of a cool one that it just seems to stand the test of time, hopefully.
If you're just joining us on Matenaer On Air, we're speaking to Amy Gorski, who's the pastry chef and owner of Poppy's Bakery in Milwaukee on the east side. And is the story really, Amy, for you just you were baking, you love baking, like and then someone just said, or you said, I should do this?
Yeah, it kind of, I was working in fine dining in Chicago, which is where I'm originally from. And I loved it. I loved fine dining, but I wanted something a little bit more sustainable for like the long run. I feel like fine dining is more of a young person's game. And I'm not a night owl. I'm a morning person. Like I'd rather start work at 2 a.m. than get out of work at 2 a.m. And I just like cookies. Like cinnamon roll. Like there's no, I don't have this like romantic, like my grandma and I used to do this. My mom and I baked pies. I just like sugar. That's it. Like I just like cookies. And the fun part about owning a bakery is I'll be doing like paperwork, or I'll be like working on like costing. And then I'm like, I just bake off like a singular cookie for myself. It's like,
that's awesome. I think that should be your slogan. I just like cookies. We'll just put it on a t-shirt. Poppy Bakery. I just like cookies.
I just like sugar.
And honestly, I appreciate that attitude towards it, because that description of that was what was that again?
The bacon brioche bun.
The bacon. So I appreciate the wonderful word-filled description, but for me personally, when it comes to anything, whether it's local beers or local foods, for me, my thing is like, I like this. You should have this. This is really good.
We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We do some unique flavors. So we put like coriander with the blueberry scone, and we've got cardamom in our little cardamom chocolate nuts. And at the end of the day, I just want to give people what they want to eat. And sometimes it's just a really good chocolate chip cookie. That's it. So
I'm so glad to hear you say that, though, because sometimes I think there is so much pressure on chefs to come up with the latest sporky.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the most outrageous? Let's get a cookie with green foam and fennel or something. It's like,
well, and that's the thing where it's like, if I do something a little bit unique or like out of the box, it's intentional. There's purpose behind it because, for example, the fruit brioche bun that we just did, it is a blackberry bun with a tarragon vanilla pastry cream. Some people aren't super familiar with tarragon, but they like vanilla, they like blackberries, and they seem to like my bakery. So they're more inclined to be like, all right, we'll take a little bit of a risk. But I'm not trying to be weird to be weird. Like it works well, So it complements, everything we do is intentional. So, adding a little bit of this or that spice or herb, whatever, it's hopeful to, enhance the experience of the pastry, not just to be weird. Sorry.
I think so many places do that. It's like weird is always better.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's necessarily true.
We took this breakfast sandwich and we put motor oil on it because,
right.
No
one's done that before.
I can completely appreciate that. I can appreciate the vision, and I watch some of the. I don't watch many of them, but like the recipes people come up with, I get it, and I respect that. But at the end of the day, I want to try something. I want to taste something that tastes good, and I don't want to feel guilty because I feel like there's a sense of like if you don't like it, your palate isn't good enough. Therefore, you don't deserve something higher end and custom made to it. And I have to imagine in that industry, because I used to work in the craft beer world, people are telling you what you should put in your creations. You know what you should do. Throw ghost peppers in here. I don't want to. I don't need to, but I'm sure you're always getting advice on how to do it better.
I know. So it's just one of those things where you kind of take everything, with a grain of salt. And, I do appreciate, the feedback. And I also think it's important to listen to your guests, to see what each community wants. And like Brookfield, they really, really loved the savory pastries. Great. So we put some more savories on. East Side seems to be a little bit sweeter. So, all right, we'll maybe focus our efforts on more sweet pastries or lighter pastries or, like the East Side really likes their butter. So we'll just, it's true.
It's Wisconsin, Amy, come on.
I know. Well, it's funny because I'm from Chicago. And so it's been kind of a unique shift where it's like, we like butter and cheese in Chicago too. But then I was like, really like it. So but again, it's important to listen to your guests because we're feeding the community. I want to make our community happy, so why not? Great, add some more butters.
Wait a minute. You want happy customers to come back and tell that what a weird business model. Also, Chicago's like a love of butter and cheese and drinking. You're adorable. You're so adorable with what.
You guys, you're getting there. Just keep up with a little bit. We're talking to Amy Gorski here on Matenaer On Air. She has joined us for Beyond the Cheese, a segment where we like to highlight businesses outside of the dairy industry. Amy has a relatively new bakery on Milwaukee's east side called Poppy Bakery, and we're going to continue our conversation. I want to talk about all the local sourcing that you do and a lot of very seasonal things that you do. Amy Gorski, our guest right here. Stay close. You are listening to Matenaer On Air on the vast, statewide, countrywide. You can pick us up around the world on the app. We are the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
She gets mad and she starts to cry. She takes a swing, man. She
Beyond the Cheese.
Good morning and welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, resident young person Calvin on the board, coming to you live from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream. Hello, live stream. On Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up a little bit later on. Todd Alba today from 2 to 4. He's back in Madison, and he is joined by Janelle Mella. She is with Wisconsin Watch. They're going to talk about concerning trends in public health around Wisconsin. We talked about, hey, we have measles back in Wisconsin. And the state has its first, reported case of measles. In the 3 o'clock hour on Todd Show, another great edition of What's Worse, featuring your neighbors. So join Todd today from 2 to 4. Right now, we're joined by the owner of Poppy Bakery. Amy Gorski is here, and Amy is a relatively new place on Milwaukee's east side. And there's a great review of Poppy Bakery today in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel by Rachel Bernhard. And she talks about your life-changing salted chocolate chip cookies.
Wait,
Oh, that's very kind. Yeah, like I had no idea that article was even coming out today. So this a lot happening
It's
on my one day
great.
off.
Yeah. Well, that's a good day for you. Let's talk about the local sourcing that you do and all the seasonal things that you like to do at Poppy Bakery.
Yeah, so I've been working with a farm out in Michigan, Mick Klug Farm, my entire career. They have just the best produce, and they're just good people, good, honest people. And specifically in Wisconsin, I've worked with Meadowlark Organic Farm for some flowers. So I like to incorporate local flowers, alternative flowers. We use spelt, we use rye. In our sourdough loaves, we'll use Meadowlark flour. I don't know. I like it for the nutrition aspect of it, but also so people in the community know that like you can get this local flour too. But yeah, I really like to use a lot of seasonal produce as well. It just tastes better. Plus it puts the money back into the farmers' pockets, and that's really important to me. So that's kind of like the ethos of the brand, and also like the way that I eat. So yeah.
So, and you are going to be expanding, and you're going to be going into catering as well.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of guests ask if they or if we could provide smaller pastries for break rooms and parties. And so we're going to be launching that soon. I just have to kind of figure out how to get that up on the website. So like, that's kind of a struggle of being a small business, is like, don't really have, the funds to be out. So yeah, I'm kind of one of those, like, I didn't realize how many hats that I have to wear. But yeah, we're going to do that. We did that in July for kind of a test run. We did mini cookies for 4th of July backyard barbecues and things like that. And we had a lot of success with that. So we'll be launching mini cookies and like sweets, and then we'll also do like breakfast platters. So we have mini biscuits and mini scones, and it's just fun to make small portions. So it's cute because we don't skimp on portions, as I've been told. Like for me, like our cookie is a normal size cookie, but like to the average guest, it's like a giant. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a Wisconsin proportion. It's a Wisconsin proportion.
Exactly.
And then a cookie is a meal to me, so like, why not?
Calvin, we're going to be sending you to pick up our breakfast orders now from Poppy Bakery in Milwaukee, just so you know it's going to be an extra part of your job.
There you go.
I don't think that's unfair. It's asking a lot.
I think it's perfectly fine to put in the job description, because now I'm very hungry and I want sweet stuff, and I too love butter.
I just like cookies.
Yeah, there you go.
I just like cookies.
That should actually be on a Poppy Bakery tote. I just love cookies.
It is so funny because I've had a lot of interviews in media, and I think they were expecting this romantic story, and I was like, I was a Food Network kid. Like I liked watching, like how food's made, and then I was like, all right, make it myself.
Do you watch the Great British Baking Show?
I don't really watch much TV. I've seen a couple clips of it. It is kind of funny, those like TikTok little clips and things like that. But I am aware and familiar with it, but I don't really religiously watch it. But there's been some funny like moments.
there's just like way too much engineering that goes on with the bakery that they're trying to make. Seriously, you need an
Well,
engineering
they're trying to
degree
make
to
a
build.
wedding cake in like 30 minutes, and I'm like,
Because that takes, I mean, especially when you work with yeast, that stuff takes time.
oh yeah. I mean, our cinnamon rolls, it's a like 3-day process. So that's also why, it's certain products, yeah, sure, we can always bake more. And then there are certain products I'm like, I can't just bake more.
Whip
So
them
it's
out. Yeah.
and it's tricky because you're trying to, figure out trends and figure out how much to make, not and to not over bake, but not under bake. And so like every service, I'm just like, well, hope this is the right amount.
Yeah.
Amy Gorski is the owner of Poppy Bakery on Milwaukee's East Side. It's 2021 East Ivanhoe Place. We'll put all of the information into our show notes. And Amy, because you were on Beyond the Cheese, we have a special gift for you.
You'll be getting one of our Beyond the Cheese hats, knit hat,
Nice.
provided to us by Wisconsin Knitwear. Knit
Love
hats, I'm
it.
sorry. Oh, wait, hold on. Thank you once again,
Stephen
Stephen
Arenzo.
Arenzen,
Yep.
who made those
Love
as
it.
a surprise to us, but yet it's a nice hat to keep on your head
Love it.
and tell everyone you were on the show. So, and do you
Aw.
want to give one away?
Let's give one away right now. If you would like a Beyond the Cheese hat, give us a call. First person
Amazing.
through 855-752-4842. Highly sought after and much desired Beyond the Cheese hat. 855-752-4842. Amy Gorski, it's been such a pleasure. Best of luck.
Yeah.
We'll follow up with you in a couple months.
And thanks so much for having me.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Take care.
We have news coming up next. When we return, audio sorbet. I need help with a backyard wildlife issue. Help me. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Good morning. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvinator on the board. Coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. Or leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. We have baseball later on today. Our broadcast starts at 5:40. The Brewers in Atlanta against the Braves. You can catch the game on terrestrial radio on WRCE in Richland Center, WISS in Oshkosh, here in Racine and Kenosha on WRJN, in Park Falls, WCQM, and in Hayward on WBZH. The Brewers at the Braves. Our broadcast starts at 5:40 this afternoon. This is the portion of the show we call Audio Sorbet, where we like to lighten things up, get away from the news so we can all take a breath.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to talk about this because I feel so guilty. I know.
Wouldn't.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
With a therapist. But anyway, let's talk about wildlife backyard rescues.
Oh, boy.
Bunnies.
Yeah.
Birds.
Yep.
Have you ever rescued any wildlife from your backyard? We're looking for wildlife backyard rescues at 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. And this is because I have a baby bird stuck in a birdhouse.
And I would like you to clarify the fact it's not just like, oh, it can't get out of the birdhouse. Its head is
stuck.
Like, yeah.
So we have a garage light on our side door on the garage. And I put a little birdhouse up there to stop the robins from building a nest there because they're so aggressive once the babies hatch.
Yeah.
I was coming out of the garage with an umbrella to keep them from dive bombing me. So after that summer, and Birdie, Egg, and Shelly all hatched, and they went away. So I put a birdhouse up there because I thought, well, then this way the robins can't build up there and some other smaller bird can use the birdhouse. It's a little A-shaped birdhouse. It's got obviously the hole in the front where they go in and out.
Yeah.
But there's also the sides. There's a gap of about this big on the sides.
About an inch and a half. So?
About an inch.
Yeah.
And that's where this little baby bird has his head stuck out.
Okay.
On the side.
Yeah.
Up next to the garage.
Yeah.
He can't get out.
Okay.
Everybody else is out.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with him. If I try to take the birdhouse out, I'm afraid I'm going to break his little neck.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid if I leave him there, he's going to strangle.
I think
or die of thirst or something.
I think those are both very, very, legitimate concerns. I mean,
I was awake until 1 o'clock last night.
I understand this,
Am I the only one who agonizes over this stuff?
I don't think so. You think you're the only one who does things, and you're not. You're surrounded by friends who care and feel feelings and think about things that are not themselves. And I think there are a lot of people out there who can identify with this. We had something similar in the backyard. Mowed the lawn one day, and this is gonna get really sad, I guess. There was a little nest of bunnies in the backyard, and it was baby bunnies, and they weren't fully there yet. Yeah. And Maybelle found them, and that was the end of that story before it gets weird.
I had to do that with Barkley once, and piece of chicken worked.
There you go.
For him to let the baby bunny go.
Yeah, it was it
was too late. Yeah.
But I think honestly, I think if you want to free the bird, it sounds like you might have to just gently take it off or rip it apart gently. I don't know if that's possible.
I can't get it apart where it is because it's kind of wedged in there. So I'm going to have to take the birdhouse out very carefully.
Yeah.
And then either I'm going to have to get a saw to try to saw the top off the birdhouse so he can get his little neck out.
Yeah.
I talked about this a little bit on Pat Kreitlow's show. He said we should call him Darwin.
Patrick Jerome. That's not.
He was trying to make me feel better.
I don't know. I just feel like we're coming up with better solutions here. You know, I mean, and that is the ultimate thing too. Is that there's nothing. This is not your fault, Jane.
I feel like I picked the wrong birdhouse.
Well, now you know what you can do is you can take some sort of material and close up those gaps. Whether it's, you know, some caulking or maybe just put some foam, something in there that will close those gaps up so it's only that entry and exit that are there for.
I'm just going to put a big box up there so no more birds can build a nest up there.
Or that too. I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
That's hardly a Marlon Perkins way out of this. Trying to be good nature girl.
No, I mean, when you get home, I know you're going to come up with an idea. And if anyone has ever come across this as well, please let us know. But I think the only options are, you know, if the life of the birdie is your concern, then you just need to take it apart in a
give it a try.
Give it a try.
Give it a try.
Do you have a Sawzall at home?
Not that I can think of.
I know it might. I know
he's gonna have a heart attack and he's gonna die.
I know. I'm just trying to think of I know it's a loud noise and everything, but I'm trying to think of options here. And
Anne Marie says I can call the Humane Society.
Really?
I didn't think they would do that, Anne Marie. I'll give it a shot.
That's interesting. I would call. Yeah,
I'll give them a call.
Give them a call. See what they can do. And
but I don't know that they do bird house rescues.
You never know.
Worth giving it a try.
Animal and humane are in their title. You never know. When Maybelle got a hold of her first hunt, which was a squirrel, it was in the backyard, and Bridget bagged it up and put it in the garage. And I said, "What do we do?" And she said, "Call animal control. They'll collect it and do their thing." I said, "Okay, cool."
Just to test it.
And I called animal control, and they said, "Yeah, we don't do it anymore." I'm like, "Well, what do I do?" He goes, "Just throw it out." I'm like, "Oh,
all right then,
cool." So yeah, I would be happy if they help, but I think this is something you can also do as well. You know, I think you can do this. I believe in you.
Thank you. I've been laying out my approach.
Yeah, of course you have.
As I think about how I'm going to get this birdhouse down, I'm going to come from the back so he doesn't see me coming, so I don't freak him out, and then I'll try and push the birdhouse tight enough to the one side so I can slip him out.
Yeah,
and then we'll take it from there.
Butter his head.
Butter his head.
Terry on the text line says, if you can detach the birdhouse, bring it to Ace Hardware, they can help get the bird out.
Really?
My goodness. Aren't you glad we talked about this now? Look at the solutions.
I am. I'm really curious.
Yeah. I would also, I don't know what a baby bird would eat if you want to give it a little bit of food too, because right now it's.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Wildlife Backyard Rescues. This is our audio sorbet for today because I have a baby bird stuck in a birdhouse by my garage. 855-752-4842. Marlene from Waukesha is on the line. Good morning, Marlene. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi. My suggestion would be to call the Wildlife in Need Center, and you would probably have to take the birdhouse there. They're in Oconomowoc, but their number is 262-965-3090, and their whole mission is to rehabilitate injured and wildlife, which this is going to fall into that category if you don't figure something out.
That's
you are awesome, Marlene. This bugged me until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Sue from Franklin just sent us the same information. Wildlife in Need Center. Maybe it's someone worth talking to as well for what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tammy from Eau Claire says contact the DNR. Jules in Mosinee says see if there are any bird rescues in the area, or just call one and ask for their advice.
Okay.
You know, these are all. Thank you so much, everyone, for reaching out on this one, because I know how much this was paining you, and it's you know, I get it. I absolutely get it. And look at this. You are not alone.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. 855-752-4842. Ollie from the Northwoods is on the line. Good morning, Ollie. What do you think I should do about my stuck baby bird?
Well, actually, this is a little audio sorbet to make you feel less bad. Animal rescue was that when my sisters and I were little and we were on our way to the movies, we came across a little bird that wouldn't fly. So we decided that we would take it home, but we had to go to the movies first. So we brought it. My sister put it in her pocket and took it to the movies, and she decided she didn't want to leave it in her pocket because it might doo-doo in there. So we put it in the popcorn bag, and during the movie, it escaped from the popcorn bag. So there were 4 little girls scrambling around on the floor looking for this loose bird. And we were sure our dad was going to get fired because he was the projectionist.
Oh,
at the
no.
movie.
Ollie, for extra points, what movie did you see?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, all right.
They're chasing around a baby bird
I
around the
don't know.
movie
You're taking
theater.
it a matinee. That's fine. It's like, ideas to watch movies later.
Did you get him back?
We did. We caught him, but honestly, it's been so long ago, I don't even remember what happened. No doubt our dad said, no, you're not bringing that thing home.
Nice try.
You girls couldn't take care of a dog. I'm not letting you have a bird.
Thank you, Ollie. Appreciate it. Wildlife Backyard Rescues, 855-752-4842. I have a baby bird stuck in a birdhouse above my garage door.
Yeah.
855-75-CIVIC. Troy from Mount Horeb is on the line. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning to you both. They make small hand saws that you could use to make that hole bigger.
Yeah. Well, it's not stuck in the hole right now.
It's not stuck
Troy.
in the hole. It's stuck in this little side opening.
Yeah.
Right. The side opening.
You could do that.
I'm afraid I'm going to cut his little head off.
Well, after you free him.
Well, I got to get him out of there.
He's giving you an after thing right now, Jane. He's trying to help with a new solution.
I apologize, Troy.
Yeah.
I'm very emotional about this.
Thank you, Troy. We appreciate your help.
I do appreciate it.
I think it's either about like sealing up those sides and making sure that can't happen again. Or as Troy said, you can get a small handsaw and maybe cut it open a little bit wider.
We're just going to move. 855-752-4842. Richard from Waukesha, you get the last word on this. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I like the idea of the Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
But some advice is don't let them talk you into a remodeled bathroom.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yes. I don't care how many. I don't care how many months it's interest free. No,
not going to do it.
No,
appreciate that, Richard. Thank you. Well, thank you for all your suggestions. I'm going to try the a couple of the places that you guys mentioned.
Yeah,
and give them a call, and I'll start with the Humane Society, and then I'll look for some bird rescues too.
Yeah. But try it yourself too. See if you can just make. I mean, honestly, it might just be. Without hurting it, just might be a little gentle push. You never know. It's a baby, so it's not going to be very strong. Well, it might be easier than you think.
Not like I'm expecting him to fight me back.
No, that's not what... My God! I'm done trying to help you.
I'll give you an update on Darwin tomorrow. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This shouldn't be a thing. Your worst nightmare is coming up. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Cheap, cheap. Welcome back to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Sweet Cal B on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Wanted to also congratulate Terry from Greenfield. She called in and picked up that wonderful Beyond the Cheese knit hat, courtesy of Wisconsin knitwear. Stephen Orenzo was so gracious to have those made up for us out of the goodness of his heart. And thanks also to Amy Gorski from Poppy Bakery, who joined us right after 10 o'clock. She has a new great bakery on Milwaukee's East Side. If you ever have a suggestion for Beyond the Cheese, which is where we highlight a business outside of dairy, just let us know about it. Contact us at Jane Says, JANESAYS, Jane Says, at civicmedia.us. You can use that same address for events going on in your neighborhood, anything else you want to contact the show about. That is the most direct way to get a hold of us. Or you can call, text, or leave a voice note directly from the Civic Media app.
That's absolutely. I even say it sometimes and don't realize I'm playing on the words and punning. So
coming up tomorrow, Todd Alba, our friend and colleague and our road trip companion from a couple of weeks ago. Todd's going to be here after the 9:30 news, and we're going to be joined by Civic Media's, as we call, genie of just about everything, Terry Barr. Emmy award-winning Terry Barr. You hear her all over the network. She does great features and great feature stories called
Taste of Wisconsin.
Taste of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Slice of Wisconsin. Slice of Wisconsin.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
Sorry, I just honestly went to a thing called Taste of Wisconsin last weekend, so now
he's confused.
Street tacos on the mind.
So Terry will be here tomorrow for Audio Sorbet at 10:33. Right now, though, Calvin, it's getting a little late, 10:54. That means it is time for...
This shouldn't be a thing.
All right. Calvin found this one from the Associated Press. No one with the byline. The headline reads, Hot dog spill shuts down highway in Pennsylvania commuters' worst nightmare. Worst?
No.
You got it, right?
I got it. There's nothing about that. You can't do anything about that joke. Just stand there and let it bowl. There it is. Don't encourage her.
A truckload. I'm just reading the headline. A truckload of hot dogs spilled across the Pennsylvania interstate Friday after a crash that briefly clogged the heavily traveled artery in both directions. Crews were stuck with a job they did not relish.
God.
Rolling up the scattered tube steaks for disposal. Shrewsbury Fire Company Chief Brad Doberman says, quote, once those leave the truck and hit the road, that's all garbage. And it's still pretty warm, unquote.
I don't know, man. 5-second rule says I can eat some of those.
I think 5 seconds.
I can. The hot dogs that land on top of the hot dogs.
They're fine.
They're fine.
Yeah.
You just put a little relish and mustard on there. Good to go.
The tractor trailer had an unspecified mechanical problem a few miles north of the Maryland line right during morning rush hour. It pushed into a passenger vehicle and scraped along a concrete divider, and the trailer got ripped open, spilling versed all over the road. 4 people actually did require medical attention, not life-threatening. A front-end loader was used to scoop up the hot dogs and drop them in a dump truck.
Oh, man.
Emergency crews couldn't help but see the humor. The guy from the fire department says his daughter texted him a photo of a hot dog-themed T-shirt. Fire chief says, quote, I can tell you personally, hot dogs are very slippery. I did not know that.
No, sir. No, sir. You don't just get to say that statement and walk away like you're still a professional at what you do.
I can tell you personally, hot dogs are very slippery. I did not know that.
Like, oh, can you tell us more about the accident? What accident? I don't know what you're talking about.
It was very slippery.
It's just a thought of my mind.
So be careful out there, I guess.
I love it when we get the ones that have no one on the byline, because there's some guy in the office like, hey, Chris, this is a fun story.
Did you cover this?
Cover
this.
Good puns. You didn't put your name in there. Yeah, I didn't want to, because this will not be considered for a Pulitzer, so therefore I don't want to be associated press with this.
A story
amazing.
Story you can't help but line it up again, Calvin. A story you can't help but relish. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh
Two
my
shows.
God. Calvin, do that faster. Catch up. Seriously.
That wraps up today's episode of
This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
Thank you, Greg and Calvin and all of our engineers and traffic and everyone at Civic. Without you, nothing works. And thank you most of all for calling and for texting and for listening. It means the world. I hope you find some joy today and you get the chance to share it. Keep it right here. We have news coming up next. And then Tom Hartman from 11 to 2, Todd Alba 2 to 4, Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6, Pete Schwaba and Nightlight from 6 to 8 p.m. Keep it right here. We are the Civic Media Radio Network, and we'll see you tomorrow.